This is my Studer A810, and this has firmware in it, and I'm going to show you how to update this firmware. First I'm going to put it on, and it will show the firmware version here. The firmware version is 1383, and I hope we will upgrade it to 0188. Now, the firmware is located in EPROMs, 3 EPROM chips that are located on a board inside the A810, and I'm going to show you where that is. Under this are a lot of cards. These are all the cards that are installed in my Studer A810, and for the purpose of this demonstration, the card with the EPROMs and the firmware on it is this card, and that is the microprocessor unit card, the MPU card. So we will going to take this card out and replace the EPROMs with new ones that I'm going to burn myself. And for the sake of completion, this is the microprocessor unit card, this is the tape deck controller card, this is the periphery controller, and in here we are going to program the calibration data. These 4 cards are for the channel number 1, and these 4 cards are for channel number 2. This is the HF driver, the record amplifier, the reproduce amplifier, and the line amplifier. And of course the same for the second channel, and this is usually left and this is usually right, of course. So before we're going to do the EPROM swap, we are going to check the calibration data, and we're going to do that through this card, but we're going to need the display for that. We cannot see that now, so that is a bit difficult to film, because I'm going to need to film me pressing these buttons here that are now below the drawer, and we're going to have to read what's here on the display. So, well, we'll see how it goes. Now I'm going to write down all the calibration data that it's got in its memory, and that is because the switching of the EPROMs should not cause the memory to fail, but well, you just never know, and it's of course good practice to store that valuable data. There is a fancy way to do this. If you have a serial card, it's supposed to be here. This slot, you can have a serial card, and with that serial card you can through the RS-232 output make a loopback to the audio input, make a memory dump onto bleeps on the tape, and later you can reload from tape into memory through the serial card, which I haven't got. If you have one, please contact me. But for now I will have to read out the calibration data through these switches, and as you can see in the display, there is now the calibration data, and it gives the values for certain settings. I'm going to write that down in a table that I just created, and I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, here is the table that I made. You can put the tape sort and the equalization, and you can record for all the speeds: 30, 50, 9.5, 3 3/4 inch, the repro levels, and the record levels, and the sync levels, and you can fill that out. So I'm gonna do that now. So I have filled in the sheet as far as I could record the calibration data. I recorded it for my Studer, serial number tape A, equalization CCIR for the 3 speeds, all the calibration data for channel 1 and channel 2. So if I replace the EPROMs now and the data gets lost, which it shouldn't, but you never know, I have the data, and it's always good practice to do this. Also, I did not do it for tape B, because I know that tape B is undefined. I know that the previous owner did not put any calibration tape under tape B setting, so there's no use recording that. And also the NAB setting, you can also of course record these settings for the NAB setting, but I'm not interested in the NAB setting because I only use CCIR here. Okay, so now I'm going to take the card out. Just be careful. Of course, first make sure before you pull the card out that your machine is turned off for at least 5 seconds, but more is better. And always wear a anti-static brace. And this is the card. We're gonna take a look at that in more detail. Okay, here we have the MPU board, and it's got the microprocessor here. It's an 8603 from Hitachi, and here we have the 3 EPROMs that we're going to replace. 3 EPROMs with different programs in it. Together they make one single program, of course. And here is the reset button to reset the card and force the processor to read the memory again. We're gonna swap them out with of these new ones that I got, and after we program them, of course. And we need 3 of them, of course, and we have 3 different binary files, as they call it, for the 3 chips. So we need binary file 1, binary file 2, and binary file 3 for the 3 chips. These stickers that are on top go over the little window here to prevent them from being erased in sunlight. So in order to replace the EPROMs on the MPU card, I need, of course, new EPROMs. So I got these. These are new EPROMs, new old stock. They have never been programmed before, and they're just really new. Don't know if it's visible. So I'm gonna program these, and for that I got myself this. This is an EPROM programmer from China, and it's supposed to work very good. And this is a EPROM eraser, just in case I just need to erase it. You need ultraviolet light, and this is a device where you can put the EPROMs in for 10-15 minutes, and then with the ultraviolet light they get erased. Don't know if I will be needing that now, but who knows. Let's first open this. This is indeed the EPROM eraser. You can put your EPROMs in here, in this drawer, and set the timer, and it will get erased. So this is the actual EPROM programmer. Works on a USB connection. It's a bit smaller than I thought. It's a lot smaller than I thought. Nothing more in the box? Yeah, that's it. It says please use a standard USB 2.0 cable, so I thought, well, isn't every cable a standard USB 2.0 cable? But nevertheless, there is one in the box. Now I already know that I'm not going to use this one. It's for a special connection here. That I'm not going to use. So yes, it's really small, but it's fine. You can put your EPROM in here and just use USB. Okay. Now, that was the unboxing. Okay, now we are going to program the EPROM. And I've installed the program on my Windows computer that I got out of storage specially for this program. I have connected the EPROM programmer with the USB cable, and let's see. I'm going to take a new EPROM and put it in the right way with the marking here like on the picture. So, and I have already, I hope it's readable, selected the right chip, and here we can check if it's blank. It says ID blah blah, okay, check code memory empty, blah 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 blah. Anyway, it says the chip is blank. Now we're going to load a file to program from, and that's the bin files that I talked about. I'm going to use this one. Okay. Now the bin file is loaded into the program, and I hit the program button, and it says do you want to program? Yes. and it starts. It takes about a minute or so. The orange light comes on. Of course, every program, every bin file, I should say, has a checksum. And the checksum from this bin file is 2db8. So what are we going to do when he's ready programming? He is already verifying here what he programmed. So first he programs, then he verifies, and then he says it's successful. So we don't have to verify it ourselves, but I'm going to do that anyway. So I will say clear all buffer. Then the program's memory is empty. Then we're going to say read the device. And it has read it in. And it says I have read this device, and the checksum from what I read is 2db8. Well, that is exactly the same as the file that we have just loaded. It has the checksum in the file name, so the checksum is 2db8. So this has been burned correctly, and now we're going to do the other two. And here we have the EPROM that I just programmed, and this is the sticker I made and printed. There it is. So, there it is, the first of my self-made Studer A810 EPROMs, one of 3, 2 to go. Well, let's see if I can get these chips out. So, now let's see if I can get the other ones in. Okay, so I'm gonna put them in now, and this is IC14, and it has to go into this position. Yeah, what you always need to do is bend them a little, or else you will never get them in the sockets. That is what I remember from the 90s. Yeah. And check if all the feet are correct. It's often better to already bend them before you put them in the socket, or else they will get bent very much when you push them through in the socket, and that's usually not so good. So check if they are all okay before you push through. Yeah. Okay. So now comes the big moment. Let's put it in and try it out. Okay. Let's carefully put it in. And we can close it back up again. And now the big moment. I'm going to turn it on. Yes, 188. That's the new firmware that I just loaded. Oh wow, I'm happy. Great success.